Good afternoon. Jim Whitehead here of All Power Group and Phoenix Animal. You know, I promised I'd be back this afternoon, and yes, I was on the phone, and it'd get a little later. But let's talk about what is titled Florida's Unusual Animals in 2024. And you might say, we're looking at the picture, you're saying, yeah, are you kidding me? Is that one of the animals? Well, don't worry, we'll explain that in a minute. Anyway, Florida is a hotspot for mysterious and unusual animal sightings due to its diverse ecosystems, tropical climate, and growing human population. These factors create a unique environment where both native and non-native species thrive, leading to many strange and unexpected wildlife encounters. Let's explore the wild truth behind Florida's mysterious animal sightings. Okay. First of all, we have what we call invasive species. One of the primary reasons for bizarre wildlife sightings in Florida is the introduction of invasive species, meaning species that should not even be here. They're not necessarily native as they would be, and they shouldn't be here. The state's warm climate and ample water resources allow non-native animals to establish populations, often competing with native wildlife. And, you know, we don't like that. So anyway, let's start off. We got pythons, perhaps the most infamous invasive species. These large snakes were likely released into the wild by pet owners. You know, and I know that's probably not a good answer or a good excuse, but now they thrive in the Everglades, preying on native birds, mammals, and even alligators. Wow. Sightings of these massive reptiles in urban and suburban areas have startled locals. Don't blame them. Pythons are not fun to walk around. Okay, the next one we're going to talk about is the green iguana. Originally from Central and South America, green iguanas were introduced as pets, but have since established wild populations in South Florida. They can be seen sunbathing on sidewalks or swimming in canals. Although harmless to humans, they cause damage to infrastructure and compete with native species for resources. And you know, the creepy thing, these are basically what we would describe, and I'm not an authority on this, but they're cold-blooded, meaning their blood and fluid matches what the temperature is outside. You and I, in normal senses, we have circulatory system that keeps our temperature at 98.6 most of the time. And obviously the body does whatever it needs. If you go out and it's hot, you sweat, the goal is to bring that temperature down. But anyway, what happens with iguanas, when the temperatures, we used to drop down into sometimes the 40s and the 30s. When it would get close to, 35, whatever, these poor iguanas would get cold and they'd fall out of wherever they were, like a tree or whatever. They're not dead. They're like immobilized because their temperature is the same temperature that you have outside. So, anyway, moving on. These are pretty cool. I don't know. Pretty animals. Okay. The next one is called Nile Monitors. These large carnivorous lizards from Africa have been spotted around Florida's canals and wetlands. They are aggressive predators feeding on native wildlife such as birds, fish, and even small mammals. Now, interestingly, as I said, if you watch any of my other presentations, I know a lot about a lot, or a little bit, I should say, a little bit about a lot. But I always learn new things when I do these, so thank you. I'm doing it for you, doing it for me. Okay. The next animal, or actually fish, it's a lionfish. And I had trouble even getting a picture of this. You know, there's a lot of things you can get with AI, or they want to put forth an image that isn't an actual live picture of whatever it is. And I just don't like those, even though, yes, you'd be able to see what they kind of look like. And I don't like to tell you about something that I can't tell you what it looks like. So, you know, I spent quite a while trying to find this, and this is pretty accurate. In the waters off Florida's coast, the venomous lionfish is another invasive species wreaking havoc on marine ecosystems. Their predation on native reef fish has caused concern among environmentalists and led to efforts to cull their numbers. I guess cull means bring their numbers down. Okay, now the other problem we have is escaped exotic pets. Florida's exotic pet trade has contributed to its array of strange animal sightings due to hurricanes, we just had them, carelessness, and intentional releases, where many exotic pets have found their way into the wild. In other words, I don't want this animal anymore, so I'm just going to let it go. Well, you know, maybe that's not a good idea for everybody, but this is one of them. There we go, staring at you. Okay, the capybaras is native to South America. These giant rodents have been spotted in parts of Florida. While not officially classified invasive, small populations escaped and it have been documented, particularly near water sources. Okay, the other thing that's happened is several non-native monkey species have been spotted in Florida, including the rhesus monkey. These primates were introduced into the early 20th century for tourism and later escaped or were released. They are now found in various parts of the state, especially near Silver Springs. That's about in the middle part of the state. It often is alarming residents because, you know, I guess they're trying to say that monkey is not native, and it's not. I love monkeys, but you know, we have to tell the truth. Now, cryptid sightings. What that means are sightings of animals that maybe aren't real, or they think they're real and they don't see them. Well, there we see, and you know, Florida has a long history of these sightings. Creatures rumored to exist, but not scientifically confirmed. I know there's a lot of rumors and what have you, and whether these, what you're looking at, are real or not, I don't want to see one. I don't want to be around one because they're probably not really cool. And what they call this is a skunk ape. I don't know where they get that name. It's Florida's version of Bigfoot. The skunk ape is a large ape-like creature allegedly roaming the Everglades. Now, back in 1974, I went for a canoe trip in the Everglades. I did a presentation on that, and I might do it again. And the Everglades is pretty tough. You can get lost really easy, and really, if anything that I would say when I went into the Everglades in 1974 on a canoe trip, the mosquitoes were unbelievable. I've never seen mosquitoes this big, so many, and they can't spray because in essence it's protected. Anyway, the skunk ape is named after its foul odor. It is said to resemble a tall, shaggy-haired primate, although no conclusive evidence has ever been found. Reports of sightings continue. Now, the next one, in fact, I'm going to say something, another category that, I couldn't even pull a picture for, but I'm going to just tell you. They call them lake monsters. Like the Loch Ness Monster, Florida has its own mysterious lake creatures. For example, Lake Okeechobee, up by not too far from Orlando, it's a big lake, and it's very large and kind of creepy, and it's one of the larger water bodies. It has legends of strange, unidentified creatures lurking in their depths, though none have been proven. I don't know what else to say, but anyway. Now on to the animals that are kind of rare, but as you can see, this is a Florida panther. And native species, some of the mysterious sightings come from encounters with native animals that are either rare or misunderstood. Talking about Florida panthers, these endangered big cats are elusive and rarely seen by people. Occasionally, a sighting of a panther or an identified bobcat or domestic animal can stir excitement, as they are few in number and highly secretive. Just a little east of here, we have a panther reserve, and I don't even know how large it is, but it's designed to have it where the panthers are protected. The only thing that is sad, I just read about it not too long ago. There's a single two-lane road that goes right through that panther reserve, and there's been, unfortunately, too many have been hit by a car. And so, when they're in a reserve, it's not necessarily where they're behind fences. So, unfortunately, they can stray into this road, and people are driving pretty fast. Okay, even though Florida has mainly and most people associate, alligators, but the state is also home to the American crocodile. And I know one would say, how do you tell the difference? Well, they get into freshwater, saltwater, and what have you. Either way, crocodiles are more common in South Florida, especially in saltwater areas, and are often mistaken for alligators, which like freshwater. Now, these animals are pretty robust, so, they might say, I don't mind being in what we call brackish water. Brackish is a combination of freshwater and saltwater. Their presence surprises residents unfamiliar with them. Now, I don't even know if I came upon two, one was an alligator and the other was a crocodile, I don't think I would actually know how to tell the difference. But, it is, if they're there and they're sitting side by side or laying side by side, you'd say, which one's the crocodile, which one's the alligator? Okay, the next one is the eastern indigo snake. This native snake is one of the longest and most striking in North America. While not dangerous to humans, their rarity makes them a surprising sight, especially as they're often mistaken for more threatening like cottonmouth snakes or rattlesnakes. Anyway, either way, I don't want to come upon any of these because, we have snakes in this yard, but they're black snake. We don't kind of know as to whether they could be poisonous or not poisonous. So what you end up doing, you just stay away from them. Okay, the other thing that is not good is urban wildlife adaptation as human development encroaches on natural habitats. Some animals have adapted to living in urban environments, leading to unexpected encounters. The sad part, and a lot of my talking about these, the animal issues, is, them being in places they shouldn't be and maybe being dangerous and not expecting to see them. So there's a lot of unexpected encounters when you're going to the bank. Okay, now let's talk about alligators for a minute. I know you're going to say, what's the difference? Well, we get into the freshwater, saltwater, brackish. While alligators are iconic to Florida, sightings in unexpected places like swimming pools. I don't have a pool, so I'm not going to have one of these in my swimming pool. They can be in, as I said, swimming pools, backyards, or golf courses. Now, if one of these takes your golf ball, what can you do? Do you have to take it as a hit, put a ball over your shoulder, or, you just say, well, I'm done for the day? They thrive in both natural and human-made bodies of water and during mating season. They are more active and prone to wandering into human spaces. Yeah, be careful. Coyotes. Now, we have coyotes in this area. Right next to us, I know you're probably tired of hearing this, but we have 5 acres of untouched land, pine, scrub pines, and so on and so forth. And I'm absolutely convinced that we have a bear population in there. In fact, I've got a camera that, it'd be where are you going to go in there? And yes, I tried a week or so ago because, boy, I tell you, I would like to get a picture. Now, bears come out. Bears go looking for food. They're not necessarily harmful if you leave them alone. Now, my going in there and trying to say, well, I want to see if I can get a picture of one, is where somebody'd say, I don't think that was real smart to do, but I'm going to do it. And hopefully I'll be saying to you, hey, here we go. I took my little action camera on a stick, and here is what I was able to find. And, I don't even know. I've seen them in where people have them in the yards. I've seen them walk across the street if I'm a good distance away. So I've seen them in person, but I've not actually seen one up close. I have not gotten a picture of one, and that is my goal. So these coyotes have expanded their range into Florida. Sightings in suburban areas increase as they adapt to urban landscapes, which is sad because that's not what they were born to be in. But they often are scavenging for food near homes and parks. I mean, that's sad because any of these wild animals, as long as they're in their environment, they have an opportunity to ensure they have food. But when we encroach and build homes and clear land, we take some of their habitat away, and they have to try to find that finding food near either homes and parks. So the conclusion: Florida's mysterious animal sightings are a combination of invasive species, escaped pets, and rare native wildlife. Cryptid lore. The state's unique environment provides a haven for a range of unusual creatures, making a fascinating place for wildlife enthusiasts like me going into the woods and try to get a picture of a bear and maybe their family. Now, you're probably going to say to yourself, Jam, if they've got, their family with them, they will protect them, and God bless them. I wouldn't want it where somebody could go in and say, I'm gonna get one of these small little bears and have it as a pet. People kind of do things that don't make sense sometimes. So we have to be okay. Although this is a challenge for conservationists seeking to protect native ecosystems. Whether you're encountering a skunk ape, tell me if you find one, in the Everglades, or spotting a Nile Monitor in a canal, Florida wildlife remains full of surprises. So that's why I bring this stuff to you. I learned something, you learned something. I want to thank you for being here. If you can subscribe. And I know you probably say, oh, come on, everybody says that. But it really does help the channel. Even though I love what I do, it's good if you can you might say, make a little money, which is okay. It doesn't have to be a lot, just a little. Anyway, thank you very much. And hopefully I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow.